week when I went home, I mentioned to Harry what was being talked about the French Lupone property. And he said that he and Joe Scatino, back when Harry was in one of his 15 years as chairman of Park and Rec, that they walked the property because they wanted it for passive recreation for Park and Rec, and they never turned it down.
Yeah, I'll get into it after.
Okay, but also, and Lois Ruggiero said back in Virginia Savoy with the first select, that she and others walked the property and they did not turn it down. She said Park and Rec has never turned it down, it's just that they couldn't have it because it was being held in abeyance because of the water pollution control thing. I just wanted to know that they never turned it down.
I'll talk about it over there, I'll address it. Hey, anybody else? So,
Yeah,
what's it?
yeah, just on the same issue, I read that in the paper, and this, and would pollution control still not decide as to what they're actually going to do? If that was held in advance for water pollution control, should it be given away right now?
I'll talk about it later, we don't discuss stuff there.
I just wanted to make.
All right, just comments. Phil, comment?
Yeah, I just want to say, as long as the lease, gives the town the right to get it back, I mean, that's the key point right there. As long as the lease says town can get it back, I don't think it's a showstopper, let's put it that way.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd just like, if I may, I'd like to add that I believe I wasn't here last week, I was away, would like to have been here, but that it was said that it couldn't be sold because it was taken under eminent domain. I don't believe that's accurate. You've got two attorneys sitting here at the table, but I know in New London, they bought property, they got property through eminent domain to sell it to somebody. So the idea that you can't sell property, and by the way, Mr. McCusker said in 19, and I can't pass this around, but I'll send it to Mary so she can deliver it to you, but in 1996, the first selectman was talking about selling that property, and in 2000, there was a discussion about Parks and Recs doing some work on it. So I've got the records for that, which I can't pass out because of your new rules. But clearly, either selling the property, giving it to Parks and Rec, which it does have appointed authority over Parks and Rec, rather than having it leased and encumbered, by the way, under a lease, which you may be able to break because you put it in the lease that you can break it, but it always creates an issue that I don't think you need to have. It's been sitting there for 25 years. Taking it off the books for taxation for another 25 years seems to me like a misappropriation of town property. And when is do you know when the town meeting is? Have you set the date?
Yeah, I haven't scheduled anything yet.
Okay, well, I hope you'll reconsider this whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to add that when Harry and Joe walked it, it was for passive recreation, also for football fields.
Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else?
Yeah.
Mr. Dolan?
There's one thing I had heard that DEP helped the town purchase that property. That may be a rumor, but I had heard that be the case.
Okay.
And if that's the case, then we'd have to get DEP's permission as well for the fire department to use it.
I have the deed. You pay $275,000 for WPCC was I guess went to court to be able to get it. And the deed is very clear that it belongs to the town. It doesn't seem to be encumbered by any state.
Okay, very good. That's it, anybody? No? Okay. Okay, I'll comment on a couple of comments regarding the French Lupone property. The eminent domain issue, because it was taken for wastewater, it cannot be sold. It went to court, there was a lengthy battle, Bennett's done the research. It's unlike New London, which was actually taken for economic development purposes, that's why it was able to be sold. Okay. Park and Rec, I met with Bo and Joe Scatino 5 years ago. I had an A2 survey done, and I gave it to them, and they had, at that time, showed no interest, and they have not said anything since, so I assume they don't have any interest. I also did meet with the Shoreline Soccer Academy, Kenny Skidmore, and Jacanian, who was the coach at Southern, soccer coach at Southern, and we walked it for potentially a soccer type of facility or fields for that group, and it just didn't work out for them either. So that's why those are the restrictions that we have, and that's why we're moving with the fire department with this lease, and it can be revocable, as Phil said. I talked to the town attorney, I sent him some bullets. He's going to draft something up. We'll meet with the fire department, and
Okay.
yeah. And as far as the wastewater, Mr. Dondero, the reason it was taken was for wastewater, but then DEP said that because it's in a 100-year floodplain, you can't use it for wastewater. That was the big sticking point for $275,000. They pushed the town to get the property, take the property, and then we could not utilize that back. So that's normal for the state, though. I mean,
Could I just make one more point on the Lupones property? Once you have a lease, I mean, let's face it, the fire department is a political force in town. Once you do have a lease, who's ever on the board of, let's say 10, 20 years from now, you want it back, who's ever on the board of selectmen, as a practical matter, will face enormous pressure from the fire department not to take it back. So, although if you have the clause in there, you can use it, but I think as a practical matter, it's kind of like a check valve, and it's pretty hard to go backwards with it, particularly if they build facilities and all that. So I think that's just another thing you have to keep in mind, that it would be very difficult politically to take it back, even if you wanted to. So that's just something you need to, consider.
if times change and the town needed, we would be able to get it back. I don't see in the foreseeable future any need for the town to have that. If we can't use it for wastewater now, what's going to change? And if you can't sell it, because the former owners of the property could come back and sue the town if you tried to sell that property because of the purpose of the site taken for.
I'll tell you, the thing that bothers me the most about it is the fact that there would be a gate on the front and the fire department would hold the keys to that gate. That's what bothers me. The thought that admission to that area would be at the fire department's discretion. I have to say, after the meeting last week, I walked in there with my dogs. That is the most godforsaken lot.
No, it's actually a nice piece of property.
It's a nice piece of property. It is so overgrown.
Yeah.
It is so
That's why I
rough
bought my
right
house.
now. It'll take a huge amount of work to make that into a usable terrain. Nothing that DPW couldn't handle with chippers
It
and
won't be DPW.
all that.
It's going to be the fire department.
fire department, DPW,
Wow.
very fine line there.
Wow.
But the thing is, it is a beautiful property. There's fresh water abutting on one side, salt water on the other. It is gorgeous. And personally, I would like to be able to walk in there anytime I want it. I don't want to have to go through a gate and through a fence and all that. I mean, no offense to the fire department, because I know they would do a phenomenal job. And we do take very good care of our fire department. There's very little that they ask for that they don't get. But I would really like to hear, and I'm looking forward to the town meeting, I would like to hear public opinion on the public thinks of this.
Couldn't that be in the lease?
Yeah, we could, when we do the lease, I'll bring it to you guys and we'll sit and we'll go on exec session and go over the lease agreement. We'll buy a Bennett come if we need to, and we'll work the lease out.
You know what, this is kind of a stickler thing, but because of, like what Phil was saying, the pressure to be friendly with fire department stuff, my hope is that at a public meeting, we can vote by paper ballot. So that you don't have to say, oh, I don't want the fire department to get that, or yes, I do want the fire
A
department.
motion can be made at the meeting to vote.
Well, I think people
Right.
should be allowed to vote with their mind rather than their heart.
Our town committee would go by paper ballot, and you gotta sign your name to it, so what's the point? Really? And yes, I'm telling you, nominating night, everybody's going up to look
Yeah,
to see
it's in
who
the
voted.
bylaws. It's in the bylaws.
So what's the point?
What is the point?
Right.
You know, one quick question is, they made some reference to it's being used for training.
Well, we haven't got that far yet, I
I
got
can't see
I just
that
wonder
there.
what kind of because the only training I know that they do is that they burn structures.
we haven't got to that point yet.
But I just think it's something you guys need to weigh also, is what kind of training are they gonna be doing now?
That's not very clear, proper.
Kind of like the dog.
Pyro Park.
The third lady's on
Brush
my
fire,
part,
no,
part of that.
brush fire.
What's the acreage on that?
Yeah.
What's the acreage on that lot?
A little over 5 acres.
I think it's 6.7 or something.
I think it's 5 above, whatever, it's usable. All right, so that's that.